の名前はアストルフォ。
Fallout New Vegas is inundated with the Western aesthetic. It's not just that it takes place in the geographic West. The themes are reminiscent of the era. Much of the Mojave is a lawless frontier. The NCR is coming in and taming the wastes, whether people like it or not. Rangers carry revolvers and lever-action rifles. What if the player wanted to lean into this as much as possible? Today we'll be answering the question, can you beat Fallout New Vegas as a cowboy? The parameters for this challenge are simple. We can only use weapon categories that are boosted by the cowboy perk. These are dynamite, knives, hatchets, lever actions, and revolvers. After naming and creating my character, I assign special stats. I go with a pretty even spread that allows access to the perks I like to use. For traits, I choose skilled and heavy-handed. Heavy-handed is pretty good for when you're using melee weapons. At first, I was only going to use outfits from the Cowboy and Western Outfit pack. Unfortunately, a lot of the outfits have clipping issues in first person, like this cool poncho. Later on, I got the Spice of Life mod that adds ponchos you can wear on top of other armor. When you tag guns as a skill, you can either get a 9mm pistol or a 357 revolver from Doc Mitchell. We got the former, which sucks. We did get some dynamite and throwing knives to start out with though. There was also a knife in a mailbox in Good Springs. Without a revolver to shoot bottles with, I ventured out into the wastes. Inside Gene skydiving, I found a Mauser C96, which I was really contemplating using. It was in a Clint Eastwood movie and also Red Dead Redemption. I resisted the urge to use it. I murdered this group of powder gangers and one of them had a 5.56 pistol. I blew them up with dynamite, but some others also engaged me. After playing Ring Around the Rock, I decapitated the last guy, who had a carbine repeater. It has an incredibly small range. I think the mod author programmed it wrong. I hunted geckos with Sunny and went to Chet to buy a cowboy hat. There are multiple to choose from thanks to the Sack Full of Hats mod. They're pretty expensive. Inside Ringo's building, I found a bodyguard revolver, which is chambered in 9mm. Easy Pete's dynamite was so effective against the powder gangers that it made them jump 10 feet high out of fear. Joe Cobb always has a 357 revolver in vanilla, but thanks to a mod, he had a crappy 10mm revolver. Lame. I got a replacer mod for the 5.56 pistol, and it looks really good. The only problem is that the light doesn't turn red when it's not ready to fire like in vanilla. It stays green at all times. In Prim, I finally got a 357 revolver from a convict. I'm using the WWP replacer. It looks great. I wanted to use Millennia's retexture because I thought it would be more fitting, but I couldn't get it to work for the life of me. This powder ganger threatened me from like a million miles away. I killed some jackals and got a combat knife to replace my old one. Back in Prim, I saved Beagle and then went to kill the ants. I killed some more jackals and one of them fell over and died on a tumbleweed. I burst out laughing when I saw this. We've got to get Prim a new sheriff, so we fight our way to Myers at the NCRCF. He needs a pardon from the NCR, which we easily get. Now he can take his place as sheriff. To get to Novak, we have to pass through Nipton, and there's plenty of people who need killing. There are some bounty hunters with ESP and boxcars building. As soon as we walk in, they detect us from behind a locked door. After getting the door open, they come down and one-shot us. One has a 44 Magnum called Blackheart that I want to use, and the other has an overpowered double-barrel pump shotgun. The way I beat them was by timing a dynamite throw for them to come down the stairs and get blown up, then hide behind the counter and shoot them. Next we're gonna kill the Legionaries. More than one of them have a cowboy repeater, so the killing that one first and picking it up strategy isn't going to work. After reloading a save, I got stuck in the fence here. I used the dynamite trick to kill two of them without being seen. Then I took out a cowboy repeater guy and took his gun. There was one more guy with a rifle, but he was really far away. So I led the others behind houses and shot them while running away. The rifle guy was easily taken out once he was alone. This guy's really good at the splits. After dealing with the Legion here, I started using the Spice of Life mod. I didn't realize when I saved I was standing on top of a dog. Down the road from Nipton at the raided farmstead, I kill a ton of vipers. I bottlenecked them from inside a camper that unrealistically shielded me from bullets. Next I stopped by the Legion raid camp to free the powder ganger slaves. I took one of them out by shooting dynamite, but had to deal with the rest of them traditionally. One of them had a shotgun that just destroyed me. I had to be careful with cover and not let them flank me. Blackheart proved to be useful here. It also was great for slaughtering these legionary assassins. After saving another slave, I was attacked by more Legion assassins. One of them had a Cowboy carbine, which was chambered in 45 ACP. Its cartridge looks way too long to be 45. I don't know why the mod author didn't just put it in 44 Magnum. I'm not complaining though, this way 45 has a purpose for this playthrough. Upon reaching Novak, this fast-talking guy gives us a quest. Some jackals took over his home and he wants us to kill them. This is added by the Classic Jackals Rework mod by Kapir. It makes them more unique by drawing on their lore from Van Buren. It's a neat mod. I'd really like to see one for the Vipers too. Using bows and venom, that'd be super cool. The jackals we need to take out are over by Nipton. They occupied the vanilla Bradley's Shack location. It's cool that this mod gives it some use. While fighting the first few, we had a temporary truce while taking out this big guy, and I showed them my thanks with some 357. As proof that we wiped them out, we must take the hand of the jackal leader. He has 6 fingers, so that's how Bradley will know it was him. I don't like the New Vegas Bounties mod, because you have to take a single finger as proof of the kill. This doesn't make sense. How are they supposed to know whose finger it is? They could have made it heads like the vanilla bounties, but for some reason they didn't. Anyway, when we get back to Novak, we get the Come Fly With Me quest from Manny. On the way to RepCon, I got stuck in a wall after Vats attacking a ghoul. I thought I was going to have to toggle collision, but I Vats attacked another ghoul and it teleported me out of it. I love New Vegas. Once inside, I found a hunting revolver. I actually could get Millennia's retexture to work with this one. Don't know why. I tried to get a scopeless mod for it, but I couldn't get it to work. On the 3rd floor, this ghoul tyrant snuck up on me. He's bullet spongy, but has an exploitable AI. There are 2 more downstairs. They won't come through this door for some reason, so I can shoot them from up here. In the basement, I only killed 2 Nightkin to check on the dead ghoul, and Davison is fine with that. After they leave, we get the ghouls to go back to the launch area, and we have to pick up stuff for Chris. The hunting revolver is able to use 410 shells, which are added by a mod. It's iffy whether that would actually work. Either way, they're really weak and inaccurate. At the Nevada wind farm, I find a mare's leg. I think it's the same model as the Cowboy carbine, but shorter. It's chambered in 44, which is cool, but for whatever reason it won't accept special ammo types. Also, I picked up a 10mm pistol silencer that can actually suppress our Cowboy carbine. We bring the stuff back to the Sean King for ghouls and send off the rockets. Now we gotta go to Boulder City. On the way there, I encounter a whole Al Chest Breach party trying to kill me. It was a really tough fight. This is added by the Bad Luck Wolves bounty mod. Before doing this challenge, I looked for bounty mods that seemed like they would fit the playthrough. I wish they would say on the mod page if it was too lore unfriendly. Al himself had that gun, and hundreds of 5.56 rounds, so we won't need to worry about that ammo anymore, I guess. I turned off the WAP that gun replacer because I like the original color better. I found the BLW headquarters, and there's not even someone to give us the bounties in payment. The bounties are just out wandering the world, and your reward is what they have on them. Lame. At Boulder City, I snuck in and freed the hostages, then massacred the cons. I decided to go north of Good Springs to find one of the dead couriers, and got ambushed by a ton of mercenaries. I had to run away and take a more defensive position. From there, I used all my 4570 against them, and also my Cowboy carbine. They all have a ton of valuable items. I got more than 30 weapon repair kits, and had to go back and forth multiple times to sell stuff. A Deathclaw actually spawned there one time for some reason. Once I actually got to the courier, the Cazadors weren't there. Weird. Near Fiend territory, I found a mercenary camp that imprisoned some guy I can't talk to. Then I took out Driver Nephi and Violet. I went back to the 188 and saw a snake crossing the road. I wonder where he's going. Now we're gonna go to McCarran. I turn in heads to Daughtry and get the location for Cook Cook. Then I talk to Colonel Sue and get the unmarked bounty quest from him. The last thing I do before leaving is go into the Beta Shack and start the alien hunting quest. Aliens are bounties, right? This quest is great. I played in casual playthroughs too. The first aliens we have to kill are in Good Springs. They're really easy. The first part of this quest always is. The other 2 houses are kind of far, so I'm gonna take out Cook Cook next. I shot his favorite Brahmin, which turned him berserk. He wiped out his allies, and I killed him while he was torching the other cows. I returned to Daughtry and completed 3-card bounty, which allows us to start another bounty hunting quest. This one is added by the headhunting mod. But first, I'm gonna go to Vault 3 and take out Motor Runner. I convinced the door girl that I'm a con to keep them from attacking me. and then I proceed to execute every fiend I can find with my silenced weapon. Oh no, are you all dropping dead? Must be overdosing. I freed the captives and assassinated Motor Runner, taking his helmet as proof. By the next house with aliens, I found a lever-action shotgun. After killing the aliens, we reach the gun runners. There are by a bunch of weapons. My favorite weapon I got is the Winchester Model 1895, called the Trench Repeater. It's a lever-action rifle with an internal box magazine, so it can use Spitzer rounds. The one in-game is chambered in .308. I also got a Smith & Wesson Model 500, chambered in 12.7mm for the game, a 50 BMG revolver, and a revolver based on the Taurus Judge. I cleared the last house of aliens, and went to do the first headhunting bounty. There's an NCR soldier guy that says he's there to help me, but it turns out he was actually the target in disguise. After that, I went to Good Springs to turn my Cowboy carbine into a cursed tactical lever action. It would have been cool if it had a scope instead of this weird optic. I also bought a new hat. Starting a new session, every button press I did ended up being registered as 2 button presses. For example, in the Pip-Boy, it would scroll over 2 options instead of 1. I thought it was just the controller being weird, but after resetting the game, I found I had left on a program that allowed me to play Pokemon Insurgents with a controller. It was somehow causing the inputs to double. After closing it, it worked normally. The next aliens we have to kill are in an underground bunker. They had a genetically modified Deathclaw that I killed with the Trench Repeater. Now for the next bounty. It's a Kim dealer operating out of Fiend territory. I kill the doorman for the key and hit level 21. I take Confirmed Bachelor for the extra damage. Guess our character is the Brokeback Mountain kinda cowboy. After slaughtering everyone inside, we have to blow up an alien ship. It's easy. Funny Family Guy moment. The next bounty is hiding out at Searchlight. He has a cool black duster. The bounty after that is hanging out in the Prospector's Den. It's weird because I already cleared out the Vipers in there, so the Prospectors have returned. Maybe they were intimidated by him? The next part of the alien quests is to kill robot ponies. We clear up some raider bounties and have to hunt down escaped ponies. One of them killed a cat! Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today. Stop interrupting the funeral! This is for the cat, you bastard. Next guy we have to kill is a weak fiend. But the bounty after this one is really hard. Killing the enemies is a challenge in and of itself. But we also have to keep them from killing a guy. The leader destroys me in 1 hit. The way I won was by taking out all of the underlings silently, then switching to the hunting revolver with hollow points to take out the enemy before he takes me out. I saved after, which was a smart move because some other guys that we had to kill appeared. I take the leader's weapon, which is an unscoped hunting revolver. It probably compares to the Ranger Sequoia stats. Now we gotta kill some lady. We talked to her dad for the location, but he'll only give it if we promise not to kill her. He gave us a collar we're supposed to put on her. After talking to the guy, another bounty hunter showed up and tried to kill us. When I got to the woman, I put the collar on her neck because I thought it would be to turn her in alive. But that didn't happen. I went back to her dad and she was gone, so I reloaded a save and just killed her. Sorry man, criminals gotta face justice. The next stages of the bounty and alien quests are up near Jacobstown. In Ruby Hill Mine at level 24, I finally got the Cowboy perk. It's annoying to get because you have to put points into melee for it. On the way to the bounty, I get attacked by a ton of people. There are a bunch of snipers and also references. The snipers are really annoying. I do get thousands of .308 rounds from them though. The bounty up here is a Rick and Morty reference. Kinda lame. The last part of the headhunting mod is to fight a bounty hunter that was hired because of a guy we killed earlier. This town ain't big enough for the 2 of us. He was really hyped up, but he was easy. 3 shots to the head from the Trench Repeater put him down. He had a cool outfit that will go nice with a poncho. I then killed a bunch of Deathclaws and exterminated the last of the aliens. There's a new bounty hunting company in Freeside thanks to the 5 Aces mod. It has a fast travel location, which is nice. Cool RE4 reference. Hey there. The proprietor's voice lines are really quiet for some reason. All the bounties are on a terminal in the building. The first quest is to rescue some guy being held captive. The gang that is holding him has really accurate throwing hatchets. If he dies, you fail the mission. It's annoying because fast travel is disabled while escorting him all the way back to Freeside. At Blue Paradise Vacation Rentals, I found a coal anaconda. The first actual bounty is at Cottonwood Crater. There are a ton of mercs and Enclave armor in the cave because of the BLW mod. I beat them by throwing dynamite into the part of the cave they were in, and then taking them out with the hunting revolver when they turn the corner. To prove that the target is dead, we must take a picture of the body. Let me just lean over your shoulder to get this next bounty here. Bounty number 2 is right in Freeside, which is convenient. I took a picture of his body and left, but it didn't count. I guess you have to click on the body with the dead center of the camera. So I went back and redid it. Bounty number 3 is by Repcon HQ. This glowing centaur is neat. After talking to this robot, he became my companion without my consent. I tried to tell him to wait, but he wouldn't, so I put him down. Clint Eastwood works alone. Bounty number 4 is that imprisoned guy at the merc camp that I couldn't talk to before. I'm skipping bounty number 5 for now because it's in Gamora. Bounty number 6 is a Deathclaw. He's by Red Rock Canyon. Also near there is the start of another quest mod, Xanadu. We're chasing down some guy that kidnapped us in the past or something. His hideout is in Freeside. Turns out he's a slaver. Gamora's been buying from him, so I'll murder them all later. I didn't know what to do, so I had to look it up on Alchest Breach's video on the mod. There's a poster that you have to examine behind the door before the quest updates. That's stupid. The guy ran off to a place called Xanadu, the namesake of the mod. The quest marker was right outside of Novak, but there was nothing there.
Howdy, friend.
It was telling me to somehow go through the Northern Passage to get there, so I started the Honest Hearts DLC.
Are you there?
I was going to do that for this playthrough anyway. It's weird how Jed talks about how mysterious Joshua Graham is, and that no one knows if he's alive, but then you immediately meet him at the beginning of the DLC. After diving headfirst into the shallow end of the pool, I picked up all the crap Daniel wanted. I guess this gecko didn't want to live anymore. I told Daniel he's gay and went with Joshua to exterminate the Whitelegs. This time I will be having him put a cap in General Gobbledygook here. Now, the entrance to Xanadu is actually in Zion Canyon. We go through this pass and a car tunnel to find a bunch of zealous tribals. Xanadu proper is completely infested with them. It's a little city world space with not much around. I like that it's raining though. There's only one building we can go into, which houses the leader of the tribe, which is a giant super mutant guy. After killing him, we find out the man we're chasing isn't here, and we came here for no reason. Back in his house at Freeside, there's a new door we can access, and we discovered that he's at a different hideout in the Mojave that is also coincidentally named Xanadu. We go there and kill him, and I guess that's the end of the mod. How underwhelming. Well, the next thing we're going to do is wipe out Gamora. The bounty in there dies like the rest of them. Next door, I kill Benny and take the chip to house. Exiting the Lucky 38, Ilario gives us the Mark of Caesar, and I thanked him with some buckshot.
You could make it.
We're gonna side with the NCR for this playthrough, so I talk to Crocker and head to the Boomers. After fixing the array, killing the ants, and giving Raquel a bunch of missiles, we can raise the bomber. There are a ton of mercs hanging out at the boat ramp. Upon returning to the strip, these Securitrons went completely overboard to kill this guy. They ended up destroying one of themselves with friendly fire. Crocker told me to do the Lame King's quest and then to meet the Colonel at Hoover Dam. She wants us to massacre the Great Khans. The Great Khans are supposed to be an allegory for the American Indians, with the NCR taking their land and forcing them onto reservations. This comparison is super unfortunate. The Khans are a bunch of drug-dealing thieves and murderers. The game does a great job portraying them as deserving to be exterminated. I mean, they are literally accomplices when Benny shoots the courier in the head at the very beginning of the game. Tribals are shown way better in the Honest Hearts DLC. Anyway, after killing all the Khans that were outside, the quest said I was done, and could go back to more. I thought you had to kill Papa, but I guess you don't. I'm fine with that because the Longhouse is a pain to walk to. Speaking of houses, the next person Moore wants us to kill is Mr. House. The Model 500 rips through his Securitrons. The last faction Moore wants us to wipe out is the Brotherhood of Steel. I sneak around and take them all out. I don't know how they didn't hear me. I was using the unsuppressed mare's leg. Before finishing up the game, there are a few more things I want to do. There's a new quest added by a mod called Lucky Jim's Cache. To start it, we have to use dynamite to blow open Lucky Jim's mine. There's ghouls inside and a few gold nuggets. I'm also going to do the debt collector quest for the Garretts. It's kind of like bounties, except you have the option to resolve things peacefully. There are 3 debtors to collect from. Then there's a bounty hunter that used to work for the Garretts but stole money from them. There's a mod that adds another debt collecting quest called the Collector. The loan shark we're going to be working for is named Mr. Franco. He's in the Tops Casino. These can be resolved through doing a tedious task or passing a speech check. Thing is, it's a Fallout 3 style chance-based speech check, which is just annoying. Hey, get me 10 bottles of scotch. How about I give you a single 357 round? The final debtor for this quest is a Raider Gang leader. He's hard to convince, so he and his buddies get to feel the kick of the mayor's leg. The final thing I want to do before saving the president is to take out Caesar. Beating him and his guards while inside the tent is tricky, but doable with some good maneuvering and 4570 hollow points. We save Kimball and can now start the second battle of Hoover Dam. I forgot to repair my armor before, and for whatever reason you can't loot the Legionnaires for theirs. Luckily I found a suit of leather armor in a locker. I introduced the Legate and his buddies to the 500 Magnum and beat Fallout New Vegas as a cowboy. This run was super fun. Taking down the Wicked as a jaded bounty hunter is really cool to roleplay as. There are so many great mods that enhance this playthrough. All the ones I mentioned will be linked in the description. And if there are any other mods I used that you're curious about, feel free to ask. If you have any suggestions for future challenges, leave them in the comments. Subscribe for more F&V challenges.